Well, the word Cenobite means a member of a monastic order.
Oh, is that it?
I guess.
Oh,
I've read that several times.
you would think that, I don't know, as important as that word seems to be to this franchise, you would think that that would be a bit spookier.
Yeah. That it had something more to do with, I don't know, what they look like or how they act or.
So like the Arbiter
Uh-huh.
from Halo
Uh-huh.
would be a Cenobite.
Yeah, he's a bit of a Cenobite.
Okay.
I'm a bit of a cinephile.
That's true. I'm a bit of a sinner.
It's for sure.
Yeah, because I really like the movie Sinners.
Yeah.
And I smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta stop one of those.
Well, goodbye, sinners.
No.
You deserve the Academy Award. And I like to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, whenever I looked it up, originally, I guess the term Cenobite is a word meaning, quote, a member of a communal religious order. And that the Hellbound Heart, which is, of course, the novella that this film we're discussing today is based on,
Right.
specifies that they are members of the Order of the Gash.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. And I know that it's a double entendre on purpose, but like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a period of time where, and you know, that's kind of the framework of the show is you would get out of work very late and we would watch movies. Sometimes we'd watch too many movies. Sometimes we would watch only the one and sit in the parking lot and discuss them until way too late. But the point is that two things were guaranteed to happen. Number one, we would smooch and we would snuggle on the couch.
Right.
And if Dylan was there, he'd join.
Yeah, he'd be the jelly in the middle of that sandwich.
Old jelly Slimac. But the other thing is that when we were done, and it was, you know, the other guarantee is that it would be done way too late.
Oh, yeah.
Like 4 to 5 in the morning was the average, which nothing's changed.
No.
But having said that, the thing that I would always have to look forward to is usually it would be the next morning because it would kind of happen on your way home or when you had gotten home. But by that point, when I said goodbye to you and you drove off, as soon as my feet could carry me to my bed, I was asleep.
Yeah. Because, I would drive home and then I would read through, as I typically do with these, whenever I watch a movie, is I read through, the IMDb page and all the facts and trivia things that they have on there. And I would screenshot interesting things that I thought that you would find interesting.
Yeah.
As a newbie, as somebody who was interested in these things kind of for the first time and getting into like, the different directors and their trademarks or the special effects and things like that, especially that.
Yeah.
And I would screenshot them and I would send them to you, like just a handful of them. And that way I figured, okay, you'd wake up the next day and you'd know that I made it home safely.
Yeah.
And then you could, read some fun facts.
My response to those was typically the enthusiasm of the response to those was typically measured by how much I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
If it was a movie I didn't really care about, I usually would just give you a thumbs up.
Yeah. Like, why did you bother sending me these?
But if it was one that I loved, usually I would be like, I'd actually read them.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, is that now I kind of laid the framework for the facts and figures section of our show.
Yeah.
I would receive that information. And now you deposit that information to both me and our audience. Because here's the thing. Even if you have already sent me those facts years ago when we were watching these films for the first time, I have forgotten them.
Yeah.
So it's all new once again.
Yeah. What's old is new again, or whatever they say.
But a Cenobite being a member of a monastic order became an inside joke for us because of that tradition.
Yeah. So I don't know people who still use IMDb, the Internet Movie Database. It has its trivia section on all the movies and episodes and things like that are on there. But people may not know the way that those things get put on there are like by users.
Yeah, it's the Wikipedia of movie fun facts.
Yeah. And so like I think they do have to be vouched for a little bit, but like
it's like if you go to the Wizard of Oz, there's 100 entries that are all like, there's a little person hanging in the background.
Yes, honestly. Like, and that's it, is like you have so many who are put in by different people that are basically the same fact, but they word it slightly differently.
Sure.
But what I found with the whole of Hellraiser franchise,
all of them,
is that on every single one of these movies, at some point, I don't know if it was the same user or not, but they would put a Cenobite is a member of a monastic order.
You tuned to the third channel, and we came and did a podcast.
Where we delve into the horror franchises you love from the perspectives of a lifelong horror fan.
And a newbie to the genre. I'm a leather-clad, disgusting semi-corpse named PJ.
And I'm Derek.
And today, the only thing we're here to talk about is puzzle boxes, which is their own kind of horror. Today, we're here to discuss a very, very famous Clive Barker joint.
Yeah.
Called Hellraiser.
Metal AF.
Metal AF. Also, a film that reminds me that yet again, I stand at the home plate of the baseball diamond. That is, we're going to knock this review right out of the park. And then instead of running 4 bases, we're going to have to run, 11?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
This one's good, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like this one.
There are some good entries in this franchise.
A couple.
Hey, we're starting off a new franchise, though.
No
Kicking
franchise. I think
jingle.
I think I said this in the last. I think I said this
At
in
some
Leprechaun
point,
1.
one of them you did for sure.
Let's write it really quick.
Yeah.
Here's a new franchise. It's really bad or good. We'll workshop that.
Well, yeah. We'll punch it up in punch that up in post.
Ty, you get an extra Pringle if you make me sound like Celine Dion.
Wow.
My Hellraiser will go on. Yes, I am both excited about this one. This franchise has a special place in my heart because this franchise exists to me to be the kickflip of horror franchises. It is the B-side of Nirvana songs of horror franchises. And what I mean is when people say, well, do you even skateboard? You do a kickflip. Right. When people say, do you even like Nirvana? You name the B-sides. And they're like, oh, shit. This guy is committed. This guy knows his shit. You know what I mean? So people will go, well, I mean, you just got into it. How much horror have you really seen? And it's like, oh, I've seen every Hellraiser movie.
Yeah.
Even the ones that are like impossible to find, that are real weird and bad.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But that is something that we could say about this franchise that we couldn't even say about the Leprechaun franchise.
Yeah.
Because we gave up.
Well, and the thing with this one is that this whole franchise, as we discuss it from its precipice, this is a sliding scale of quality from like really good episodes of like the Twilight Zone where they're really compelling, interest. I know obviously they're much more horrific and gory, but they serve as moral tales to a degree, all the way down to terrible episodes of like Law and Order.
Right.
Not even SVU.
Oh, yeah. You're not wrong.
Well, I bring up Law and Order specifically because what is it? Inferno, I think is the one. Looks like it was shot by somebody who worked was like a day grip for fucking an episode of Law and Order. It's terrible.
Yeah. It's gonna hit a lull there for a while.
But some things to look forward to. We do go back to space in this franchise. We will go back to space.
Man, so soon.
Yeah. Same thing with Leprechaun, where the second one kind of works as a sequel, but then the third one is super fucking weird. So that's a similarity.
Yeah. Honestly, the first 4 entries in this kind of follow a similar pattern.
Yeah, and then it ends with a gritty, but similarly tonal reboot of the franchise.
Where a different person is playing the lead, icon.
Headed by a different production studio. very good.
Very good.
I remember that one more than I remembered this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Do you remember the first time you saw Hellraiser? You're like, oh, it was at that same fucking Halloween party. And it's like, that seems impossible that this one was playing.
No, it looks like, if my letterbox is correct, October of 2013 would be the first time that I watched.
Yeah.
So not whenever I was a kid.
No.
This was obviously one of the ones that like I was not allowed to watch. And it also wasn't one that like any of my friends, could get their hands on either.
Well, being honest, I don't think this is one that kids would really like.
Right. It is one where, you see this one as a little kid in the video rental store.
Yeah.
And like you're in, me as a little kid, I'm in the horror section. I'm looking at all the cool cases and boxes and things like that. And I'm reading descriptions on the back. And I'm seeing like the little pictures that they have on there. And like the Hellraiser franchise is one that you look at and you're like, I don't think I'm supposed to be looking at this.
Right. And that's what I was going to say is that, even the kids who have an interest very early on with, preverts, even the one you.
What? Me?
Pervert. No. Yeah. You love, what is it? Butterball?
No, I mean, I like Butterball.
Do you like
the Chatterer is my favorite?
Okay. I was going to ask if you like Butterball for the same reasons you like Moodang. Very similar in skin quality.
That is true. The
Slick.
rolls and slick as hell.
I bet Butterball, like Moodang, would taste delicious.
No.
Guys, comment below if you think Moodang, the pygmy hippo, would taste great. And the answer is hashtag Moodang yummy. Anyway, it's even the kids that are interested in this very adult stuff early on. Normally it's like, I remember being a kid like around 13 and starting to get an interest in like a real developmental interest in like sex and kind of wanting to explore that stuff. But this isn't pornographic for like pornography's sake. It's like pornographic in like a really sinister, almost like you said, it's so taboo. I should not be seeing this.
Yeah, it's the difference of like, oh, let's watch the latest Friday the 13th movie because there's a bunch of boobies in it. Instead, it's like, oh,
let's watch a snuff film.
Oh, yeah. Why do I feel the way that I do looking at these images and I don't understand?
Yeah, I don't think at that age you have the capacity to understand like
sadomasochism. And,
well, exactly that is like there are people, and we'll get into that. But yeah, no, I can't imagine like if you guys are Charlie, how old were you when you watched Hellraiser?
Yeah. But it was one that like once I finally saw it, and that's the other thing is we know that this franchise is very long, like you know it, and it's just like, oh, and I know eventually it's like it's not even him playing the character, and like Clive Barker, his name is only really attached to the first few, and so it's like, oh, these are going to get bad. And there's so many. And now I have so many to catch up on. And so that's why I think it took me a little longer to finally see them. And then whenever I did, I saw the first two because those are the two that everybody can agree on are good.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I think you and I sat down to watch all these things a few years ago that I was like, they're all streaming right now. Let's watch them all while we can.
Yeah.
And I have then since purchased them all as well.
Well,
so
some people would say, those people are me, that's a waste of money.
That I have a problem.
Yeah. What's funny is that when you mention, sitting down to watch them and going, I know there's a lot of them, and I know that Doug Bradley's not in them at a certain point, and those details, I did not know that. The only thing I did know is you were like, yeah, we can watch Hellraiser next. And I was like, oh, I'm so fucking excited for that. Because you know that name.
Yeah.
And you know about Pinhead. And I think Pinhead looks cool. At that point, I was playing Dead by Daylight. Pinhead was in it. So I was super excited to get to know more about him. And you were like, I would hold off on the like exuberance that you're feeling right now. Like any of the excitement that you have towards this franchise, I'd maybe dampen that a bit. And I was like, oh yeah. And you're like, yeah. Eventually you'll understand why. I was like, okay. What I will say is the first time I saw this movie was with you, but the first time we watched this movie was not the disc. We didn't put the Blu-ray in and watch it.
Right.
It was an episode of The Last Drive-In, and it was Joe Bob covering it in a live show.
Interesting.
And that's how I saw this movie first. And what I will say is that watching this movie again these years later, sans Joe Bob Briggs, it does make it worse.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like him. He's like a fun cowboy guy.
Mm-hmm. Love me some Joe Bob.
We don't talk about him very often on this show, but he's great.
No. You would think that we would more. Maybe just because we haven't watched a lot of movies that he has covered yet.
No, but what I do think is funny is that there are now movies in two categories, of which the first Hellraiser is in one, of like a Maniac, where it's like, I have seen that movie. I really like that movie, but I watched that movie with Joe Bob. And it's like, yeah, I like that guy. The first time I can ever remember seeing, because I think that's an interesting point. The first time I can ever remember seeing them, right? The Cenobites, members of a monastic order, obviously.
Right,
the first time I remember seeing that was at an FYE.
Oh, okay.
And they had like, air quotes, action figures, which were just statues, but I think it was like McFarlane or something had released them.
McFarlane, yeah, because he has, I mean, that kind of became his thing there for several years, where he wasn't even making like he did the Hellraiser ones, obviously, and he did all the Cenobites and everything, but he also had like just twisted fairy tale ones that aren't really based on movies or anything. They were just kind of his own idea.
Yeah, it's like during and after his Spawn era, he was into like him and him and Mike Mignola, who created. That's my chain of thought. Hellboy, and then into Guillermo del Toro. But like that kind of horror was very popular. Yeah, but it wasn't even from this movie, because I remember being like, ew, what the fuck is that one? And it was because it was Dr. Cunard
from the second
one.
Hellbound, yeah, with
like the gross worm head.
Yeah.
That's a wormy guy.
He is a wormy guy,
and I don't like him very much.
I'm gonna talk about him all next week.
I don't give a fuck personally about wormy guys. The only thing I give a fuck about right now is Hellraiser. My bridge into these has become worse and worse as we've gone on. We're going to have to figure out a new whole bit for this, because me just trying to work it into conversation.
No, I love it.
My social battery is drained, folks. I got nothing else. Here, I'll just do it again. Ready? Yeah, he's in a movie called Hellraiser 2, but this one's called Hellraiser. Demon to some, angel to others. A hedonistic man finds a mysterious puzzle box that summons a group of gruesome beings known as the Cenobites. These otherworldly entities open the doors to a dominion where pain and pleasure are indivisible. Now, there's a word in here that I don't understand. Gruesome beings known as the Cenobites. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah, a common misconception. Okay, a Cenobite is a member of a monastic order.
Oh, like the Arbiter.
Yeah, from Halo, yeah.
Great, yeah.
From, the Covenant.
Or like Pinhead from Hellraiser. Demon to...
Hellraiser was released in September 10th of 1987. It is written and directed by Clive Barker, based on a story of his. It is produced by Christopher Figg. The cinematographer is Robin Vigeon, who is a assistant cameraman on Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Temple of Doom. And then he was director of photography on this film, as well as Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, Parents, the dark comedy from 89, The Fly 2, Nightbreed, and then second unit director on Event Horizon. The editor is Richard Marden, who had worked on something called Frankenstein, The True Story from 1973, a sci-fi horror film called Saturn III that came out in 1980, Sword of the Valiant, which is a fantasy film from 84, Hellbound, which is Hellraiser 2, Nightbreed, and then Tony Randall also did uncredited editing work on both Hellraiser 1 and 2, and he was later the editor on such classics as Dino Croc vs. Super Gator, Piranhaconda, Shark and Saw, Women's Prison Massacre, and Cobra Gator.
Did he have like a horrible scandal?
I don't know, man.
And it forced him to work on all that crap?
I guess.
Like,
what if he chose? Like, what if he was like, hey, I know those Hellraisers were like really, really well done. They're well regarded. People love them. It started a whole franchise that went for decades.
So I'm going to do it again with Sharkconda. See, I think that's more like he fingered his ass in a like a wait line at a ride at Disney World.
I didn't read that on his Wikipedia, but he might have.
Off to direct a Tubi Films to you, sir.
Off to Neverland. The budget on this film was about $1 million, and the box office, it brought home $30 million.
That's surprising. I just figured this one would have flopped.
Yeah,
nothing against the movie either. It's just it's weird,
different.
It's a weird movie, man. It's very taboo and strange.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And the stepmom, who's supposed to be like the sexy seductress lady, looks like a human foot sprang to life.
That's an opinion. That is an opinion. Director-writer Clive Barker, he wrote and directed Nightbreed in 1990 and Lord of Illusions in 1995. So he's only directed 3 films. But he wrote Underworld in 1985, Rawhead Rex in 86, and then he did the story for Hellbound, Hellraiser 2 in 88, Candyman in 92, Candyman Farewell to the Flesh in 95. So those are kind of the ones that he has a writing or a story credit on in some way.
Do you think that he wrote the Kingfish Mardi Gras monologue?
Probably not.
No,
writing the story is not the same as writing the script. I'm sorry.
He set his fucking quill down on that ancient fucking parchment made out of dried up king cake. And he scrawled it out.
Producer Christopher Figg also produced Hellbound Hellraiser 2. He would also produce Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth in 92, Killer Tongue in 1996.
What the fuck?
Dog Soldiers in 2002.
Dog Soldiers.
I love Dog Soldiers. And then he was the executive producer on Mandy in 2018. It's been a while since we brought that up.
Okay, I don't like that.
They do have some beings in there that kind of remind me of the Cenobites.
Yeah. Cultish Cenobites, maybe?
And then was the executive producer on Blackwater Abyss, which is a killer crocodile movie from 2020. And then he followed that up with Great White, a shark movie from 2021. The music in this film is done by Christopher Young, who has done a lot of horror scores. He did music for The Dorm That Dripped Blood, a slasher from 82, Godzilla 1985. I don't know if that's like the American version of it or not, but either way. He did the music, and I believe we've mentioned him before because he did the music for Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, Invaders from Mars, which is a Tobe Hooper film from 86, Hellbound Hellraiser 2, The Fly 2 in 89. He did the music for The Exorcist 3 in 1990. The Dark Half, which is a Stephen King adaptation, I believe, that's directed by George A. Romero from 93. The slasher Urban Legend from 98. The Grudge, the 04 American version. And then he scored Drag Me to Hell, the 09 Sam Raimi film.
Wow, that is a lot of horror.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, there were more. His work has just been like the last, 4 decades.
Yeah. Score is very good in this. It's gothic.
Yep.
It's powerful when it needs to be, suspensefully creepy when it can be. Yeah, it works the whole time.
Yeah, I agree. Development on this film began before Clive Barker's novella was even published.
Oh, interesting.
He was very disappointed with 2 of the prior adaptations of his work, which were Underworld in 1985, that's based on his story and script, and then Rawhead Rex in 86 from a screenplay that he had written.
Rawhead Rex just sounds like it should be dirty.
Yeah.
Sounds like what you call a guy who has like a terrible STD. Like, oh, he's a Rawhead Rex.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is.
Well, it is now.
When you get down to it,
That's a Third Channel podcast saying.
Yeah.
I love signing your name off on things.
Right. And then I have to choose whether I agree with it or not. And at this point, I just say yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is what's interesting is that now you've adopted this third option, which is you're just like, anyway, you just so you don't make
Let's move past.
Yeah, you don't make me sad by denying me my stupid joke,
right?
But then you don't sign off on it actually.
Yeah, I don't yes and it.
Yeah, you go whatever it. You're like sure.
Yeah. Barker called them, quote, cinematic abominations made from my stories. It felt as if God was telling me I should direct. How much worse could I be? And so Barker had asked Christopher Figg what type of budget he could expect to get as a first-time director. And so Figg answered basically under $1 million. You would just need a house, some monsters, and pretty much unknown actors. And so Barker's novella, The Hellbound Heart, which basically takes place in one location, one house, fit that perfectly. So Fig agreed to then produce the film, and they got New World Pictures to fund the film for $900,000 at the start.
Wow.
New World Production or Pictures is Roger Corman's production company.
That explains a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I love Roger Corman.
He gives people a chance, man.
He does.
The studio originally planned for the film to be straight to video, but after seeing the first cut like 7 to 8 weeks after principal photography had ended, they liked it enough to invest more money into it. And so this led to them actually going back and shooting newly added scenes like Frank's resurrection, and then redid the finale. That was done in hopes to make the film more marketable. They also convinced Barker to relocate the story from the United States, which then required them to kind of do some overdubbing on certain lines in the movie to both get rid of the English accents and then change a couple lines to where it would make more sense that it's in the US.
Okay.
Even though when you look at this movie and the buildings and the trains and the everything about it is like, well, no, this is in the UK.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and the other, like when she's taking the walk and it's like,
they're on the like at the docks.
it's like there's like a bridge over them, and it's like, well, this building looks ancient. Yeah. And look, oh, it's raining.
It also, I noticed in these rewatches that whenever Larry and oh my God, what is her name? Julia. Whenever they reach the house for the first time, the way that they talk, because she has an English accent.
Oh, the whole movie.
And they leave it. They talk about like how, oh, well, at least it's good for you to be home.
Right.
And it's like, well, now that doesn't make any sense.
Hello, Governor. I'm from Nashville.
And they keep talking about how like, well, it's so much better than Brooklyn, I believe is what they say, or maybe Chicago. It's one or the other. They're like, well, at least it's better than that.
Yeah, because
it's like, well, then where are you supposed to be right now?
Aren't they supposed to be in Chicago? Because it'd be really funny if the line is, well, it's better than Chicago.
It's something like that, man. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. I think it would be very funny if they they convinced Clive Barker to do that. Is such a strange. Why?
They thought it would be more marketable.
But what does the trailers say?
From the mind of
this summer, from the mind of legendary horror creator Clive Barker, in one of the 50 contiguous United States comes Hellraiser.
Well, I'm buying a ticket to that.
Versus hello, Governor.
Nope.
This is so stupid. What a dumb. I did that whole thing just to set that up, and then I couldn't help but laugh like an idiot.
Yeah. I would not see that film.
Okay.
So it worked. Worked on me. True patriot
You
right
didn't
here.
see the trailer. The trailer did not impact your decision to watch this movie at all. It was word of mouth, and that word of mouth was in an American accent.
That is also true. According to Clive Barker, since the writing of the Hellraiser script took place during the height of the Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Halloween film series, his intended portrayal of Pinhead as an articulate and intelligent character was initially not well received by the producers. Some of them are suggesting that he should act more like Freddy and crack jokes. Others suggesting that he be a silent character like Jason or Michael. But thankfully, he got to stick to his guns there. Barker insisted that Pinhead's personality be more evocative of Christopher Lee's portrayal of Count Dracula.
Oh, I love that.
Saying,
that's such a good comparison.
Saying, quote, part of the chill of Dracula surely lies in the fact that he is very clearly and articulately aware of what he is doing. You feel that this is a penetrating intelligence, and you don't find dumb things terribly scary. I find intelligence scary.
Yeah.
And he gives the example of like, that's one of the reasons I find Hannibal Lecter scary, because you always feel like he's going to be 3 jumps ahead of you.
I like that too.
So Hellraiser was filmed at the end of 1986 over a 9 to 10 week period. They originally were supposed to, or he originally wanted it to be called The Hellbound Heart after his novella, but the studio decided that that title sounded too much like a romance.
Kind of.
And so they asked him to change it. And so as a working title, Barker suggested Sadomasochists from Beyond the Grave. And then that was rejected for the, actual title for its overtly sexual content. So then he suggested Hellbound. But they felt that that was too negative. So then Christopher Figg, the producer, he eventually suggested Hellraiser, which felt, right for this because it sounded like something coming after you.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I love the name Hellraiser.
Yeah. And Clive does get to at least use, because Hellraiser 2 is called Hellbound Hellraiser 2.
Yeah.
So he gets to use it there. He has spoken fondly about his memories of production, saying, the cast treated me and my ineptitudes kindly. The crew were no less forgiving. He admitted his own lack of knowledge on filmmaking. I believe he had made 2 short films prior to this, were the only directing that he had.
Which is so funny because the more you learn about Clive Barker, the more you realize that he can just do everything.
Mm-hmm. Just talent.
Yeah. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's an actor, he's an artist, he's a fucking obviously an author of both novel literature and then also screenplays. Yeah, the guy can do anything.
Yeah.
The only thing he can't do is not be named Clive.
But yeah, I mean, is that a problem?
Yeah, Clive's a bad name. Clive Owen. Fuck that guy. I don't know.
Because he wouldn't come back for Sin City 2.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't like people that are really talented because I'm not. And I'm like, get out of here, you fucking Clive. Yeah, I gotta find something that isn't and I gotta pick at it until it becomes a vulnerability.
Okay, I got you now. The studio had planned on casting stuntmen as the Cenobites to save on production costs. What does that sound like?
Everything.
Freddy's Revenge. Yeah. Clive, however, insisted on hiring actors, reasoning that even if the characters did not speak and were, just acting under heavy makeup, their body language would still convey a personality.
That's a good decision.
But then Ashley Lawrence still didn't spend much time on set with these actors, acting mostly to, quote, a piece of masking tape. For budget reasons, most of her scenes featuring the Cenobites were shot separately, which is why they don't appear on screen at the same time for most of this. Thinking back, it's she has kind of an interaction with the Chitterer at one point, and then Pinhead rises up behind her at one point.
Kind of an interaction.
Yeah.
That's a pretty intense interaction, brother. He shoves his fist in her mouth.
Yeah, apparently because he does not have eyes.
Yeah.
In this one, he couldn't see, and so he scraped her palate as he shoved his fingers in there.
Now, what I will say is that sounds a bit like an excuse.
Mm-hmm. An excuse for what?
Shove some fingers in her mouth, dude. They're sex perverts.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Chitterer, not an actor. That guy's real.
That's how he looks.
He exists.
He did that to himself.
Needs a lot of dentistry. He's missing most of his teeth.
He's got some good chompers.
Oh, yeah. He could bite through an armored truck, baby. He could bite into the fucking Disney vault.
Oh, man. And release all of our classics.
No. If you breach the Disney vault, you become a Disney cartoon.
Oh.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah.
A Saturday morning Hellraiser cartoon.
I was going to say, fucking Tiana's singing a song and Dr. Facilier comes out and all the shadows are coming after him. And then the Chitterer bites his leg off. And it's gory and horrible. I'm like, I don't remember this in this movie at all.
Bob Keane is who designed the special effects makeup for this movie. While only in his mid-20s, Keane had amassed an impressive list of credits. They included the original Star Wars trilogy, multiple Jim Henson films, a handful of projects under his mentor Nick Maley. It was through that he was tasked with designing the makeup effects for Highlander, and then that put Keane on the radar of Hellraiser producer Christopher Figg. Clive Barker drew inspiration for the Cenobite designs from punk fashion, Catholicism, and by his own personal visits to S&M clubs in New York and Amsterdam. So for Pinhead specifically, he drew inspiration from African fetish sculptures. For the female Cenobite, she was inspired by scarification and body piercings from National Geographic articles. The Chatterer and Butterball. Originally, they had dialogue in the original script, but their makeup made it basically
impossible for the actors to speak. Yeah.
And so their lines were then given to the female Cenobite as well as, and mostly to Pinhead, which then helped basically cement him as their leader. I guess in the novella, Butterball is more their leader. And so them just moving all of his lines to Pinhead just, changed that.
Yeah. Well, good for Pinhead.
Truly.
Promotion.
It's all about marketing, baby.
Fucking white men failing upwards. Fuck this country. That isn't England.
Right. Definitely not. The big unnamed creature that has become known as the Engineer, I think the Engineer name came from the novel, was not in the original script, but it was added in a response to the studio's request that the movie be made a little more commercial, needing more jump scares.
Okay.
And so to bring that to screen was very difficult, as it was hard to maneuver. The monster was basically a guy mounted on a podium with wheels. And then in the scenes where it chases Kirsty down the corridor, that set was only about 15 feet long. And so the monster took up like half of it. It was like 7 feet long on its own. Yeah. And so it was pushed by a huge gang of special effects guys, like the
Mouth of Madness, the Creature Collective.
Yes. And so they had to film him and Kirsty moving down the corridor several times over to create the illusion of the length. But then Ashley could just easily outrun it. So Clive had her just kind of run slowly in place and just kind of jog along. But the way that she's bouncing and her hair is moving and how close and the different lenses they're using, it makes it look like she's running.
Because I would have never known that. What that reminds me of, by the way, is like, oh, fuck, you just keep running real slow. Is the joke that we were making about Leprechaun 3, where it's like, okay, now go back across the street.
Well, yeah, it's that. It's also how the the hospital scene in Leprechaun is shot, where he's in the wheelchair and Jennifer Aniston could just run away from him very easily. So she had to like run in slow motion, and then they had to speed up the footage of Warwick.
Yeah, it's like a Muppet stage.
Yeah. Basically. But numerous props of the lament configuration were made from wood and cut out brass pieces. Those were produced by special effects designer Simon Sace. Due to the box's delicate construction, he would lie on the floor under the Cenobites during some of their takes in case it was dropped, to save him like the 8 hours it would take to create another one.
Yeah. What a prop. I mean, my God, it is the simplest. I mean, it's not. It's so intricate and ornate, but it's such a simple design in theory. But it's Freddy's glove. It's, it is
instantly iconic.
It is ubiquitous with horror.
Yeah.
I really like that thing. I have one.
Well, yeah. And the fact that you like the way that it would have had to have been constructed is like you have different, because as we see it moving in the movie,
there's no
that
way
item can't actually do any of that. Right. Like it can't do all of it.
Right.
So each moving piece has to be its own setup.
Like when Ashley turns all of the Ashley, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm so
the
bad
actress,
with fucking names, whatever her character. Oh my God, what is her character?
Kirsty,
thank you. Not Nancy?
Not Nancy.
All right, Kirsty. When she is turning all of the Cenobites, and I'm jumping as far ahead as almost possible, but when she's turning them all into like Magic School Bus, early 90s PBS cartoon lightning characters, it like splits in a diagonal way, and then it'll like turn like a sphere. Yeah, it does all the things in an impossible way.
Yeah. All of those lightning effects at the end there, those were hand drawn by Clive Barker, because they didn't have any more money.
Okay, now what I will say is that does make it look, it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, I believe it was him and one other artist, but I can't remember the other artist.
But yeah, it looks really funny.
And as you would expect, at the time of this movie's release, the MPAA and the BBFC had an agenda on the, quote, intensity of tone, which resulted in several issues that they had with this film. According to special effects designer Bob Keane, the censors didn't like the torturous aspects with the sexual overtones, feeling that mixing pain and pleasure wasn't a good thing to promote. So as a result of this, Clive Barker had to make several brief cuts to the film. The amount, and this is where it always gets dumb with the ratings boards, is like consecutive hammer blows. So how many times the hammer can hit somebody in the head, fingers entering flesh, the S&M spanking between Julia and Frank. I believe they could only show 2 spanks. The third had to be cut. Any additional like thrusts during sex scenes, basically all with the intention of watering down the overall impact of the piece. So it's not like, you got to cut this whole scene. It's just like, well, if you cut this moment and this moment and this moment, that's enough over the entirety of the movie then now it's okay.
Well, and the other thing that bothers me is, well, we don't think that sex and pleasure together is a good thing to promote. It's like, why do you think movies are promotional? Why do you think that promotes something?
Well, you don't think they're going to be selling a bunch of little kids' action figures of all the Cenobites?
No, I don't think that Looney Tunes cartoons used to promote running over barren cliffsides or blowing up coyotes with fucking TNT. I did those things because I had developmental issues.
Oh, wow.
The box. You opened it. We came.
It's just a puzzle box!
Oh no. It is a means to summon us.
Who are you?
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some. Angels to others.
It was a mistake! I didn't mean to open it! It was a mistake! You can... Go to hell!
We can't. Not alone. You solved the box. We came. Now you must come with us. Taste our pleasures.
Please, go away and leave me alone!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Wait, please wait!
No time for argument.
You've done this before, right?
Many, many times.
I just like to think that when he's like, no time for argument, that is Pinhead's way of being like, I'm not asking.
Right.
Like, come on. How do you not get this? Well, you did the box.
Yeah. You did the thing.
Yeah.
Whether you meant to or not, I don't care.
Yeah. I'm not here to ask you about your intentions, lady. Everybody, did you read the thing on the box?
Well,
He's
no,
like-
there wasn't any directions.
He's like, flip it upside down. She looks,
oh my
and
God,
it's like,
they're right here.
warning. Solving this box will lead you to be kidnapped by Cenobites. Asterisk.
Yeah. I think that ending, that last line that we had was is kind of haunting because it's like, this is our first time as the audience seeing the Cenobites, but the idea that it's like countless times we've done this.
Yeah.
Like there's been so many people before you. And that's kind of the cyclical beginning and end of this film
Which I love.
is, yeah.
That's my favorite part of this movie is the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
Because, this is a movie where we start. It doesn't say this, but we are in Morocco.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Your namesake.
Yes. Yes. I was named after an English breakfast
Uh-huh.
and the city with which Hellraiser begins.
There is a gentleman named Frank Cotton, and he buys a puzzle box that is said to open the door to a realm of unworldly pleasure.
Frank is the biggest problem I have with this movie.
Uh-huh.
People don't realize, and they always comment when they're talking about this movie, they're always like, oh yeah, that's the one that like, it's a good movie, but it barely has the Cenobites in it at all. Like it's just creepy sex pervert Uncle Frank.
Right.
And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff about Frank that doesn't work for me.
Okay.
The character, once he becomes a spooky meef skeleton,
Uh-huh.
great.
Yeah.
For the most part. His name shouldn't be Frank. Frank is just such a dumb name.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And his brother's named Larry.
Right.
So it's like you got two, where's like Tom and Dick?
I understand that. I think the commentary is that you never it's not like his name
Right.
is like Siler or like
Slade Craven. Yeah.
Zox Maroth, is a Frank and he's just some pervert. But it's like, I think Frank and Bob are the ones that not Frank and Bob, which is Frankenstein's son. So stupid.
I was going to say it would be if you stitched like a bunch of sponges together and brought it back to life. That would be.
It's Doodle Bob,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
No, it's Frank. It is just too simple of a name.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, this man is like young.
Mm-hmm.
He looks young, and he's very handsome, and he's like tan, and he looks like an extra in like Temple of Doom.
Okay, yeah.
Like
yeah.
he looks like mercurially ethnic, and he's got like good facial hair. And so for him to be like brother to boring Larry who cheats, who you know, instigates cheating with his Maggie Gyllenhaal-esque wife. And it's like, none of those things make a lot of sense to me when the movie starts with him in Morocco to buy a sex box.
Yeah, because then it's like, how does he... Okay, so he buys this box.
Right.
And then he goes home, back to his childhood home.
His childhood home in London.
In the U.S. somewhere.
The U.S. of K, right?
Right. And then he covers his house in like weird biblical statues with like neon lights, and he sleeps on like a dirty
roach infested mattress.
Yeah.
The kitchen is disgusting. The house looks like, if you've ever seen, I don't think you've played it, you would have seen it, but for the audience, if you've ever played Resident Evil 7 Biohazard,
right,
is what it looks like to me. It's like people live here and they shouldn't, because it's fucking decrepit. In Morocco,
yeah, because he's basically squatting in this house.
Yeah, in Morocco, the only line of dialogue is, "What do you want?" The guy's like, "What do you want?" And Frank's like, you know, it's Frank from Chicago. So Frank's like, "I want the box, and I want a hot dog with a big pickle on it." All the poppy seeds you can get stuck in your teeth. And so he gets the hot dog in the box,
and he's like, "It was always yours. That dog was always going home with you, Frank."
That dog was two things: always yours and slathered in a pickle.
Yes.
So
I love everything in this opening shot.
Yeah.
I love how dirty everything is and sweaty everything is. Like the filth under their fingernails.
Yeah, no, I like it too. And I wish that so much more of the movie was this.
Yeah. Cause then it's like we cut to him in the attic. But then we like cut to he's like in his house. He's in his attic. He's surrounded by a square of candles. And he just is kind of like fiddling with the box.
Yeah.
Like he's figuring it out. It doesn't have directions.
No.
But then you just, I guess it's got to be like it's a feeling, and you just kind of you're if you link into this thing, your hands can just do the correct movements to unlock it.
It's called the lament configuration.
Right. Which I don't believe is named in this at all, in this film.
No, I don't believe so. Even if it is, I mean, that makes sense. It is configured to you and wavelengths of your emotion and your mental state. But what I will say is that within the timeline, and I'm immediately breaking the linear mold of this film because I want to talk about this really fast.
Okay.
He's in the attic in his little altar, and he's solving the puzzle box. So I have two questions.
Right.
Because he wants the box. He fucking leaves the country to go get it. And then the box, he solves it, and chains and pillars and Cenobites come out and tear him to literal pieces for what they think is sexual euphoria.
Right.
Because they're perverts.
I suppose.
Did he not know that would happen? And if he didn't know, what did he want the fucking box for?
What did he think the box did?
Right. I wish that they had explained that.
Like, we have to assume, by what we see in this movie, that Frank has done everything you can on Earth.
Yeah, a bunch of hard drugs. He's had sex with any number of people of any, any different kind of body. He's done it all.
And he's heard these rumors of a box that can take you to the next level.
Okay, maybe. I'm fine with that.
But like, maybe he doesn't know what that means, or to the extent.
He doesn't know what Cenobite means.
No.
He thinks it means being bit by a sinner, a la the film Sinners, wherein they are bit by sinners.
Yes. I love, the little bit of the Cenobites that we get to see here. All the chains, the hooks, the pieces of meat and skin and everything else. I love kind of how just dreamlike this whole opening sequence seems.
Yeah, I like that's what it's going for. I think it needs a little bit more structure. And the only reason I say it, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
It's just the first time watching this, it was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Because there are pieces of like tissue, skin, or muscle, or whatever it is, attached to these, like, they look like 2x4s. They're just kind of spinning around with a bunch of barbed wire on it. But it is like, oh, is that already him?
Right.
Like,
Okay, I see what you mean.
And because
Or is this like just the remnants of people in the past who have opened this
which I
box?
assume that's what it is.
Because there's so many ears.
Yeah. A man can only have too many ears. But they're from the whole thing is shot from a bunch of these really extreme angles or at these extreme close-ups, sometimes a combination. He screams and he is no moss.
The scream is odd to me. It always, I don't know if it's the way his mouth is shaped whenever he screams, whenever the chains come out the first time. There's something weird about it. I didn't do this. Frank Cotton is played by Sean Chapman. He was in an 85 British horror film called Underworld. He is in a spy movie from 87 called The Fourth Protocol, a 2010 horror film called Psychosis, and then he does reprise this role in Hellbound Hellraiser 2.
Sorry, what was the first movie?
Underworld.
No, it was something about being British?
Oh, yeah. It was a British horror film.
That's strange to me.
Yeah. Not to be confused with the franchise with Kate Beckinsale.
Which they made American.
Right.
They're like, another classic U.S. movie.
Yeah, that's why you've heard of that one and not this one.
Right.
It's marketable
Yeah.
to the U.S.
The only places that movies are allowed to take place in are either fictional places or the U.S. That's why Shrek takes place in Hollywood.
Baby.
Whatever they call it.
Yeah.
New Fairy Tale Land or something.
Sure.
It's like that bit from
Hollywood, I
Shrek
don't know.
too. Oh, God, fuck you. Anyway, yes.
Frank's brother Larry moves into his family home.
Yeah.
And I guess he intends to rebuild his relationship with his now second wife, it is soon to be revealed, Julia. But he is unaware that she has had an affair with Frank before their marriage, shortly, like moments before their marriage, apparently.
Yeah, and for a long time.
Yeah.
For enough time that, like, she helped him do a lot of the things he'd already done.
Yeah.
And I get it because it's like they go into the house, they look around, it's all trash, it's all disgusting. Julia kind of wanders off on her own and goes up to the attic, where I guess it is presumed that they would fool around her and Frank.
That's what I don't understand.
Like, did they fuck in this house?
I don't know. Because the way that it's cut, and we cut back and forth between memories that she's having of Frank. And then I like kind of what they do because they cut in between like moments that like bring up a memory. She opens this thing or she looks at this item or this whatever. When Kirsty's there later, she gets splashed by water. And so she comes and asks for a towel. And that like triggers that she has this memory of like the first time she ever met Frank, and she opens the door and he's standing in the in the rain.
And she said, "Hey, Frank."
Pretty much.
Yeah, because that's his name. I'm never going to be able to move past that.
It's weird.
The guy's name is Frank.
But I can't quite tell. I don't feel like it was in this house that they were doing these things.
Okay.
Because whenever she goes upstairs, she finds like his bedroom with his dirty, tattered, excuse for a mattress on the floor. And she's like, "Do you think people have been squatting here?" And then Larry picks up a little figurine of like two people having sex. And he's like, "Oh, it's Frank."
Which, yeah, immediately it's like, oh, so you just know.
You just know.
Everybody knows. It's like, I have a really good relationship with my brother. I don't know that if I found a statue, like a little hand-carved
Like an
stone
ivory,
statue of two people like eating each other out or whatever, I'd be like, classic Alistair.
Yeah.
Now, argument could be made, but I wouldn't assign that to him on sight.
Yeah, immediately to your wife.
Yeah, I would look at my wife and go, "That's my brother." Your potential children, that's their uncle.
But she seems surprised by this. I'm just like, he's here. Like, so I don't know. Larry Cotton is played by Andrew Robinson. He is in the Clint Eastwood film Dirty Harry from 1971.
Okay.
He is in, we've spoken about him before. Because he's in Child's Play 3. He plays Sergeant Botnick, who is the barber.
He just doesn't have the facial hair in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I didn't like him in that either.
And then he would go on to be in Pumpkinhead 2 in 94, as well as a sci-fi horror film called The Puppet Masters from from 1994.
Is that the one with the all the little guys?
It's not. That is Puppet Master.
Oh,
so
God.
that's why it's confusing.
Now, something that I said to you while we were watching this the other day is that this whole opening sequence is like sex pervert, like depressing, near suicidal Beetlejuice.
Yep.
Where
I thought that myself rewatching this of like, man, that first Hellraiser movie is kind of like an R-rated Beetlejuice.
yeah, but instead of Delia Dietz, it's Julia Skeets.
That was worth it.
Off the dome,
Yeah,
baby.
that was good.
Classic beans.
Oh man. Julia Cotton as her married name, of course. Her maiden name
is
Skeets. Played by Claire Higgins. She reprises her role in Hellbound Hellraiser 2. She would later be in The Golden Compass, which is the like fantasy film based on the in '07 based on the young adult novels. She is in Ready Player One in 2018, the Spielberg film based on the book.
this role.
Yeah, she does. And then she is in The Convent, a 2018 horror film.
Is the Convent the one with
honest-
problematic jeans girl?
No, that is something else.
Okay.
That I can't think of the
Who
title
cares?
of right now. I did enjoy that film. But yeah, they are, investigating this house, kind of looking, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna clean it up. We're gonna move in, on Monday or whatever. So then they start the move-in process. He takes a phone call or makes a phone call to his daughter Kirsty. And I guess Kirsty is like going to college,
Very confusing.
bought or has an apartment.
Because the whole conversation, then they're not saying apartment or flat, they're saying room. Kirsty's like, I got a room. And he's like, well, you didn't have to do that. You could have just come here. And she's like, no, I want to strike out on my own. And it's like, but in the exact same town where your family lives, but you guys are coming there at the same time?
Yeah.
The whole thing is very strange.
Very strange. She has a job and she has a room.
Because you could have just said, like, oh, yeah, I'm on summer break. So can I come stay with you guys? Her not living there adds nothing.
No, it gets her out of the house for periods of time so that Julia and Frank could do things.
Right,
but like
she's young.
yeah, they could have had her be going to school, have her be going to her job.
Her job, yeah.
Anything.
A boyfriend.
A boyfriend, which she does have in this
Maybe
film.
she goes out there and she just grabs a rock and smashes lizards and shit out there all day.
Yeah. Maybe she tells her dad she's in college classes and instead she goes to her local mall and goes into the Apple store
or either.
And plays on an iPad for, I don't know, what, an 8-hour shift?
Now, would you say that that's something you've experienced?
Not personally. I haven't done that, but I have witnessed it firsthand.
Yeah. One day you and I will have to have a new podcast.
Yep.
Called like Simply Asking.
Stories.
Yeah. And it's all about the people that we met at that job.
But yeah.
People and met, by the way, are both in air quotes. The monsters that we witnessed.
That's a good distinction.
Speaking of monsters that we witnessed, eventually, Julia has wandered and meandered all the way to the attic.
Yes.
Once again. The house is also a really confusing layout. I can't tell how many stories it's supposed to have.
Yeah, it is. It seems like 3.
See, I thought 4 at a certain
Could
point.
be 4.
But all that matters is that all of this terminates at a very small hallway at the top of either the 3rd or the 4th floor. And one of the doors goes into a big empty space.
Right.
Wherein earlier in the film, Frank was torn to pieces, was made into meat.
Yes.
By a bunch of monks.
Yes. And so, yeah, she's up there reminiscing about her relationship with Frank and the affair that they were having, right before she is marrying Larry.
And I guess
And
it's like, you're a sex pervert and you've done everything. I say that so often. No, your name is Frank and you're a sex pervert.
Okay.
And you've done everything in the world. and you're about to go buy a puzzle box to get torn into shreds. And before that, you're like, well, I've done just about goddamn everything. Oh, you know what I haven't done? And I guess that's the point is like, I
Yeah.
haven't fucked my brother's soon to be wife.
That has to be it.
Yeah,
It's just got to be the taboo of that.
It's like the Frank of all of this film. I hate.
Oh, yeah.
I don't hate it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't
And it's the
love
thing
him.
that facilitates the whole film. But yeah, it's like, he's just a bad guy.
He's just a dick.
Yeah.
Well, but the other thing is, and the reality is, if it's for her like personality, she's just like terrible.
Yeah.
She's just like there's no personality, and maybe that's the performance because I don't think her performance is very good. But like, she's just like this kind of wet blanket who has a really big attitude problem, who immediately is like, oh, you're cute, and then fucks her fiance's brother.
Yeah. And I don't know like what we're supposed to read into that. I don't know if like maybe
Larry's
it's
so boring.
It's that. And so she sees like the bad boy brother that she's heard about wet at the door. And so, you know,
too wet.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever have a brother that's just too wet?
Yes.
Okay. And so, but she lets him in, and then she lets him inside.
Oh shit.
And then, but it's kind of the, you know, he's attracted to the taboo nature of who she is in relation to his brother. And then the corruption of this woman who seems uptight.
And like the supplication of that. Yeah. I'd say that's probably
That's the only thing,
accurate.
because it's like, it's like you said, she is not this drop dead gorgeous. Oh my, there is literally a person in this movie who says like, oh, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And it's like,
then you should have cast somebody else.
right. And
I'm not even trying to disparage her.
No.
But she looks like Maggie Gyllenhaal.
She just, she looks like a person.
The word
she
I would
doesn't
use-
look like,
Yeah.
you know, a model.
I feel comfortable using this word. She, to me, facially is pouchy, is how I would describe her. She's got very defined like cheeks, and she has that kind of like, oh no, I'm sad look to her in general.
Yeah.
And I might be projecting some of that anger because she's also a terrible person.
Right. That's a possibility. But at the same time that she is reminiscing about all of the steamy sex that she had with Frank on top of her wedding dress lying on the bed. Larry, her loving husband,
Her doting
is boring. Sure.
he's a boring blue
He
boy.
is working with these two movers to move this mattress up the stairs. And with every thrust that we get of this memory, we move closer and closer of Larry's hand ripping across this nail sticking out of like the banister.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah. But it is very much the you know, as the climax happens there, the nail penetrates and rips across the back of his hand and exposes a bunch of blood. It's a decent effect for like what it is and kind of how the shot is set up. But it 100% is the theme of the film, of this mixing of pleasure and pain in one instance.
Yeah.
Across time and space, basically.
Now I know what you're suggesting is because there's flashing back from sex with her and Frank to this wound that Larry sustains. But personally, I don't even think it runs that deep. I think because when he does it, for some reason, the actor who played Larry just went, and like really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, I gotta go show her.
I got to get upstairs. I got to show her, and I need to change me trousers.
Right. Because he has a incredible aversion to blood.
Yeah.
He goes up and finds her in the attic, and he's like, I can't even look at it. How bad is it? And as he's walking in there, he's dripping blood onto the floor. And, you know, she's like, oh, we need to go take you to the hospital. We've got to get stitches. And Kirsty, his daughter, is there at the house, like helping them kind of move in and whatnot, get settled.
The movers are horribly creepy with her.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Most of the men in this movie are horrible.
Yeah.
Most of the people in this movie are horrible. Honestly.
Yeah. The best one, Chatterer.
Oh, yeah.
He cares about two things. Let me put my fingers in your mouth, and then I'm going to bite you.
Yeah. And he's always got a smile on his face.
That's so. That's so funny.
But yeah, we see that blood then seep into the floorboards of the attic, and it starts this like bag of organs that is like in the floor between floors.
Yeah.
Which apparently a lot of the effects like that in this movie are made from condoms and lube. They just bought a bunch of condoms and lube for this movie. That's why everything is so wet.
Is that why you bought all of those like right there in the corner, those condoms and lube?
Yeah, we're gonna remake this movie.
I don't want to.
Yeah, but just you and me, buddy.
No, dude, just fuck me. I don't
Okay.
want to make this movie.
I got the lube and the condoms for it.
So you got a condom?
Always.
You're ready to roll, baby. It is wet and it's gross and it looks great.
It is incredible use of reverse photography here to let the blood soak back into the like the nail holes in the floor.
Yeah, it is this,
And then it's only matched because we go into this resurrection scene of Frank.
it's a bunch of basically liquid and puddles of like rotten, like sun damaged flesh that just slowly stitches itself back together into a like howling, reddened, musculature kind of skeleton.
Yeah. It's basically, the skeleton wrapped around some organs.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible sequence.
The only complaint that I had with it is they needed to speed it up. I get it. You got to pad out your movie, and this is like the money shot. This is the best looking effect you have in the whole movie, so let it take its time. But after a while, it is a thing of like okay, just a little bit faster.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
What about the fact that there's a spooky skeleton at one point?
Oh, yeah, there is that.
You cried.
Yeah, I had to hide behind the couch, and then I watched peeking over until that was over.
You were shattering.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I kept looking over my shoulder like, oh God, he's real.
Julia leaves because they make it back from the hospital, and they're having like a dinner party, like a housewarming party.
Yeah.
With a bunch of people who we don't care about.
Nope.
I will say, because I haven't said anything, Kirsty Cotton, the daughter, is played by Ashley Lawrence. She is in Hellraisers 1, 2, 3, and Hellseeker. She is in a 92 slasher film called Mikey, a Lovecraftian horror film from 94 called Lurking Fear, and then the fantasy horror film from 99, Warlock 3. But she is there, and the only thing that I will say about this dinner scene that I realized while watching it is the way that people are set around this table. It is like Larry is at one end, Julia is at the other. Kirsty is sitting next to Larry. And then her boyfriend, Kirsty's boyfriend, is sitting catty corner, then on the other side next to Julia.
Yeah.
And then like there's 3 other adults here.
Yeah.
But then the way that the camera angles are whenever they're talking to each other, because it's like at one point Larry's like, oh, Kirsty, what were you drinking, dear? And she's like, oh, no, I've had enough. And then he's like pouring her, or they cut, and the boyfriend is then like pouring her a drink. But then whenever you cut to the wide shot, it's like he would have to be stretching over the entire table to do that. And he's just like basically just like barely putting his arm out.
Yeah, he's
Mr.
Mr. Fantastic.
It's, yeah.
The geography is not a strong suit of the movie, but it almost kind of works in its favor.
Yeah. And
it
I
all
think
sems surreal. What I was going to say is the cinematography of this scene makes me think that any moment it's going to be like, the whole thing, even the chalk outline with the door and it opens into hell. It's like, yeah, man, this movie is just pervert Beetlejuice. And that's saying something because Beetlejuice is a pervert.
Yeah, I guess he is, really.
I've said it 3 times.
Pervert?
Yes. Oh, God, he's here. It's Frank.
Hiya, Frank.
But it's just Frank Reynolds.
Yeah. He's the man on the couch.
He's the man in the attic.
But Julia, she gets up and leaves this dinner and goes upstairs because it's almost like she's drawn to the attic for whatever reason.
Because she's a... Because she is and I'm not going to use the C word, she's a twat. Because of England.
Oh, okay.
She goes all the way upstairs because she's like, man, my husband who has cleaned this entire home for us to live in this beautiful part of town. My stepdaughter's here with us. The boyfriend sit next to me for some fucking reason. Shouldn't trust me next to him, by the way. I'm a pervert, just like Frank before me. I have to go upstairs because I don't like being here.
Pretty much.
I'd rather go upstairs and lament about the death of my husband's brother's death because he and I used to have disgusting pervert sex together. I hate her so much.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
And it's good that I do, by the way. I don't hate her because the character's poorly written. I don't hate her because the character's decisions are bad or unremarkable. I hate her because her character is morally bankrupt.
Despicable.
Is pathetic. And you root against her the whole time.
Yeah.
But the movie she is kind of our lead.
In a way, yeah.
And it's like, I like... Once she has reached this point in the performance, it gets pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what the fuck I feel about any of this. It's just, I've been listening to this guy in this like almost sadistic sexual relationship for so long that I don't have any agency with him whatsoever. And it just, it devolves and gets worse and worse and worse. And I like it. In the beginning, it's a little hard to stomach because there's no reason for her to be like that. But just from the jump, she's just kind of miserable.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we get, kind of the reveal of why.
She wants to go back to England where they're clearly not.
They're not there.
I don't know why I was stuck on that. I just think that is so funny.
It's a weird decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, she finds Frank in the attic here. And he is a shell of a man.
He's a chattering pirate skeleton.
Pretty much. Incredible makeup on him. At certain angles, he really reminds me of Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus. It's the like cheekbones and the way that the teeth kind of work.
Yeah. This
the
is
skin
the
tone a bit.
That's the only time where he feels cheap to me. And I think that's just a difference of opinion, but he has the skin quality and coloration of like a puffer fish. He just looks so bizarre. It's like, why is he speckled?
Yeah.
Why he's like a little brown speckled alien guy.
Now, what's interesting, and this I really thought about on my last rewatch, is because during these scenes where he's in the heavy makeup, like what Frank mostly is through this movie, in the credits is called Frank the Monster. And that is played by Oliver Smith, who also reprises in he is in Hellbound Hellraiser 2, as well as a vampire movie called Tale of Vampire from 1992. But with that realization of like, that's not the same actor who plays Frank in that makeup, because what they needed, to reference Billy Butcherson again, that is played by Doug Jones.
Yeah.
And much in the same way, they needed a very gaunt, thin actor who they could then make up like a skeleton, more or less, like with basically a skeleton with skin on it.
Right.
And then they could build that makeup up and that costume up over time to fill him out to full. And so they couldn't have the original actor in there. They had to get another guy. But that means that later, whenever at the end of the movie, spoilers, jumping ahead, whenever he has then taken Larry's skin and is wearing it, that's just Larry's actor playing a version of Frank. The actor who plays Frank is only him for...
In the very beginning and in photos.
Yes.
Yeah.
The character of Frank, as despicable and fully realized as he might be through this entire film, is played by two other actors most of the time.
Well, yeah. Well, and the thing that is strange to me is that I think the biggest problem with Frank, jokes about his name or whatever aside, is like aesthetically, he just doesn't fit the character. It's like, you would think, and this is just, all of this is a generalization about humanity, but granted, that's what movies kind of do.
Yeah.
Is like, you would think like a loathsome sex creep would not be like a really young, very attractive, handsome man. Like, for your general audience, you would want to make him maybe a little bit older than Larry and look kind of gross.
Yeah.
To act kind of gross. We are a visual animal, so it makes sense that we would relate one to the other. But you cast like Skeet Ulrich and you're like, oh yeah, he's a disgusting pervert sex creep who has to go buy a box because he can't get off normal anymore. See, he's an unlucky soul, because if he was dealing with all this now, he'd just go buy a fleshlight.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, our sponsor for this week.
God. I want to do the regular, like, I want to do the Shadow Legends and the ZipRecruiter and shit way before, and Tubi, way before we do Fleshlight. Now, I'm not saying that we don't take the Fleshlight contract, but can we wait a little while?
Okay. What about Blue Chew? Can we get Blue Chew on the line?
Blue Chew is boner gum, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring the podcast.
Fuck. Why does we have to do that on the sex creep episode?
Because it's funny. Leave all of this in.
You got it. I'm going to cut me out.
Please do.
But I'm going to leave you talking about fucking Blue Chew or whatever.
Boner pills, yeah.
Frank never needed those.
No, because he had Julia. But yeah, she finds him. She's a little freaked out at first. She's like, I don't know. How do you know my name? And then he's like,
that was very Trump.
And then he's like, I'm Frank.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't look at me.
It is. It's skewing Trump a little bit. Yeah. Don't look at me. I need the blood. I can't do it, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, she's still
sex creep.
Yeah,
that's the time.
Yeah, it all
Frank
ties
is
together.
absolutely on the list.
Oh my God.
Frank is on the list.
Yeah, there's only one person I can think of who's probably on that list more, and you mentioned just a moment ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she basically takes a moment to be like, I don't know what this is, and then very quickly comes around and just like, oh no, I'll help you. Whatever you need.
Yeah, and he's like disgusting. And like you can see his like organs, his rotted organs through his rib cage. That's like dripping what we now know is lubricant, but it just looks like mucus.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, honey, if you murder strangers for me, I'll let you suck my nub. And she's just like, okay. And it's like, ew. Wait.
A little.
Wait longer. You seem so eager.
Kirsty leaves after dinner, and she and her boyfriend, I guess, go to stay in her room. The boyfriend's name is Steve, played by Robert Hines. He was in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which was the 1994 Kenneth Branagh version.
Okay.
And then a 2009 horror film called The Unholy Order. He has a couple scenes. He's not really big, but that's basically the only people worth mentioning in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Other than the Cenobites, we'll get there.
Is he not in the sequel?
We will see. I can't remember.
That character was a big deal in the sequel. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Maybe he is. But as they're leaving, there's this who they call the derelict, who is like the homeless guy who is watching them. And Kirsty notices this, but doesn't really make a big deal out of it. But it is a character that pops up several times.
Yeah, the derelict will go on to be the whitest kids you know magnum opus eagle of this film.
Yeah.
And if you know what I mean by that, congratulations. We've clearly shown you that video before.
But they make it back to their room. There's a nightmare sequence where there's like a baby crying and what looks to be like the shape of a body, but it's underneath like a bunch of like feathery down. And then that starts seeping blood out. It's super surreal.
Yeah.
And then it sits up and it's like the mangled corpse of her father, Larry. And so she calls and makes sure that he's okay, but like he's fine.
And he's fine. And Julia's still putzing around upstairs trying to figure out. And Frank's like, basically, Frank is like, well, logically, I was brought back because of Larry's blood. So I need strange men's blood to stay alive. Now, two things. Number one, it does just kind of make this a vampire story, more or less.
Because he can't leave the darkness of the attic.
Right. His soul is gone, absconded from dark powers.
He needs blood to regenerate. The first time that she meets him, he's standing outside the door,
and she brings him in,
and he's like, "Well, are you going to let me in?"
Yeah, it's like a sex pervert version. Well, now granted, Nosferatu's filled to the brim with perversions.
Vampire stories are sexual in nature.
What I've always looked at a vampire story as is vampirism, the curse of vampirism, literally or literarily.
Right.
To me, feels like a reflection of humanity's darkest impulses turned romanticized and shoved back down our throats. To that end, it's why I don't think vampires have a reflection, because they themselves are a reflection of what we could be. Pervasive, evil, predatory monsters that hunt down youth and drain it for ourselves to try to live that bit longer. But in that...
That's a good take. I really like that a lot.
Oh, thanks, man. But in having said that, I don't know if that is mine alone. It's probably
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I haven't
thing.
ever thought about that. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good... You should write that down.
Well, having said that,
Somebody should.
That is what this movie then does. It it doesn't frame it as... where vampires and vampirism is usually something that is more divinity versus hell. This is more innocence versus
debauchery,
like sexuality in a healthy way versus hedonism.
Okay.
And so the air quotes vampirism, the curse of this is that hedonism has led so far away that they are now having to eat the innocent to get back to a place where they can be accepted again.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a vampire story. Now, what I will say is that vampires are usually sexy as hell, and Frank just looks like a fucking bag of bolts. He looks like a dick freshly shoved through a donut.
That was a scene that was cut.
I do not doubt that for a moment. Fucking some guy shoves his wiener in a donut, and then Butterball grabs it, and he goes, and he's eating it.
Glazed.
It's like, well, no.
That's the one line he gets.
He can't even say that. So he eats it, and then Pinhead turns and goes, glazed. It's like, what? Can you taste that? He's like,
and then gives him his fingers to lick.
No, he's like, fucking Pinhead's like, the nails work as tuning rods to be able to taste what they taste. It's like, oh, I bet you guys lick some pretty gross shit. He's like, you wouldn't believe the gross shit.
You ever lick a foot?
You ever been to Trump Tower? All the gold that's on the lament configuration came from one of those goddamn toilets.
But so starts our like montage then of Julia going to bars.
The entire second act of this movie could be like played to sitcom music. It is a montage.
Yeah, because we get our first one. They show it in full, where it's like she goes to a bar, finds a guy.
Again, irresistible. She truly is Clive Barker's Tom Atkins.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Okay.
But yeah, it takes this guy home, and I guess while Larry is at work, and she takes this guy up to the attic.
I love this bit though, because she's like, actually, you know what? No, because she's having cold feet about murdering him. She's like, actually, you know what? No, never mind. And he's like, are you changing your mind on me? How fucking dare you?
And then he gets like almost violent for a moment.
And that changes her mind into like, actually, you know what? Yeah, it's fine. Let's go upstairs.
Yes.
And
I love that little moment there in the doorway.
And then what she does is she takes him and she puts him into a box. And then she puts that box into another box. And then she smashes him with a hammer.
Wow.
Which is a Emperor's New Groove quote. But I like it because she doesn't do the box thing, but she does beat these men to death with a swift strike to the back of the head with a nickel-plated hammer.
Yeah. And this happens several times. And then I love that, like, even in those moments, like she is knocked them down, knocked them out or whatever. And then Frank, like, drags his body, his basically alive corpse across the floor. And then he's like, you got to get out of here. I do not want you to see this. Like, she just closes the door and like goes to the bathroom to clean up.
I don't know if I'll keep this, but the thing that reminded me of was something from Family Guy, of all shows.
Yeah.
Where sex on TV and violence or whatever. Yeah, this is just an episode.
This is what they were talking about.
Yeah, it's Hellraiser. It's Chris tells Brian that he's going to help him with something, and he's like, okay, but what I need is I need a pair of like swimming goggles, a roll of duct tape, a Dyson vacuum, and a sandwich. Like, and I need you to fill out my sandwich order. And Brian's like, okay. And then he knocks on Chris's door and he opens it. And he's like, Chris, it's been 3 hours. You going to help me? And Chris has the goggles on. Taped around his waist is the vacuum that is in his pants. He's eating the sandwich and he turns and he's like, you should not be in here, dude.
Yeah, it's basically that.
Yeah, it's just Frank's like, you don't want to see what's going down.
No.
Apparently, because of what we see later,
For British eyes only.
Frank, Mr. F. He come on, guys, leave a comment of another sitcom that this movie is somehow about.
Right.
But apparently what he's doing, because of what we find out later he does, is he's sticking his fingers in them, and draining them of their juices.
Yeah, and then it rebuilds his body little by little.
Good for him. At one point he's like, oh good, I got my nerves back. I haven't been able to feel in a long time. But yeah, she seduces and kills, it's like 3 or 4 different men over the course of this period.
Yeah. And he finally does kind of explain to her what we were saying. It was like he has exhausted every sensory experience that you can get on Earth that you can, pay for or have or what have you. And so he sought out this puzzle box that was supposed to provide access to a realm of new carnal pleasures.
Okay.
But then, unbeknownst to him, whenever it's solved, the Cenobites came and subjected him to the, most extreme form of sadomasochism that you can.
We also find out in this moment that he escaped them with his brother's blood.
Right.
But they want him back real bad.
That seems to have been a big, oversight in there. Like they don't realize that they left a piece of him behind, I guess.
Yeah. And he's like, they cannot know I'm here. If they call, you tell them you have not seen me.
And so Larry,
the fucking house phone starts ringing. She's like, I'm just not going to answer it.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
And it's Kirsty is like at a payphone. Like, for the love of God, please. I need rent money. My room.
They're going to take my room.
My room lord is going to kick me out.
Larry comes home and he hears, they're hanging out that night and they're like watching boxing on TV and Julia seems into it. And he's like, I just thought you didn't like this violent stuff.
Yeah.
And she's just kind of like, oh, I've seen worse.
She's like, oh man, I wish they were doing this with a hammer. He's like, what?
It's like, that's not a sport.
She's like, it is. And I'm the best.
I'm the best at this. But he hears, because Frank is just kind of like in woe, throwing himself around the attic for some reason.
Well, he's lonely.
He
is
must
my
be
assumption.
that.
He doesn't have a dick to jack off yet.
He's jealous that his goodly
brother's
wife is downstairs hanging out with his still living brother.
You know that show, The Good Wife? This is the good brother's wife.
Yeah.
I also love the way he looks in this moment of like, he has gotten to a place where he feels alive enough that he wants to wear clothes again. But the only clothes that he has access to are Larry's clothes. So he's wearing like a very light colored button down shirt, but he does not have skin.
Yeah. He's gotten to the point where like all of his organs and veins and everything else is coming back. So he's just a blood red guy.
And like an anatomical, it's like if a person just, you snapped your fingers and they were exactly the same. They just didn't have any skin.
But he's wearing all but the jacket of a suit.
But it is funny, but I absolutely love the realism of like the blood has seeped through so much of his outfit, but he just wants to feel human.
Yeah. He's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, which, by the way, now that we've talked about that, I'm thinking about watching him smoke that cigarette, and I gotta go outside and I gotta smoke a cigarette.
Right. I forgot that rule.
Because I'm a sinner. Sinner's night. Which Sinner's night is gonna be you, me, and Ty watching Sinners.
Soon enough. But Larry hears him making noise up there, and so he goes to investigate, and Julia stops him by taking him to the bedroom.
He's like, what is that noise? She's like, oh, it's probably a rat or something. And he's like, no, it doesn't sound like a rat. And she's like, oh, well, maybe it's the storm. He's like, no, I don't think so.
I hope it's not my good for nothing brother up in that attic.
Kind of sounds like a guy trying to jack off without a dick. And she's like, What the fuck? How did you? What?
And so he tries to go up there, and then she stops him, and she's like,
Let me go in there and try to jerk you off without a dick.
yeah. And so they go to bed, and she realizes that Frank is hiding in their closet.
Yeah.
And so as they are, beginning the love-making act on the bed.
For, I assume, the first time in a long time.
Probably.
Yeah.
They're breaking in the new house,
Mm-hmm.
Frank comes out of the closet.
Uh-oh.
And he's got a switchblade.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to kill Larry with it. And then she is begging him to stop, which then Larry takes to mean what he's doing. But then we just witness him, instead of stabbing Larry, he just carves a dead rat in half with the switchblade.
You know that fucking vine, that old vine of what, so no head? And then the guy slams his skateboard on the ground. That's what Frank did. He went, what, so no brother murder fuck? No fratricide fucking? And then he cuts the rat in half in a tantrum. He's a psycho, man.
He really is.
The guy who's playing Frank at this point is great and really does play that oh God. He plays him really well as a Frankie Freako.
They are some real freakos in this movie.
Oh, dude. Freakos is a great way to describe them. Shabadoo.
Kirsty, she works at a pet store. We get a quick scene here where she's dealing with a customer, and then that derelict guy comes back in, and he grabs a handful of crickets.
Yeah, yummy yum.
And he eats them up.
You ever go to a theme park and you see the crickets that are encased in a lollipop?
Yeah.
He did that without the lollipop.
Oh, okay.
And they were alive still.
Yeah. And so she kicks him out, but it's just kind of this weird, threading along this.
Furious.
Yeah. Well, and it's disgusting.
Well, and I get it too. I get it's not only is it disgusting, but I don't understand, and I need you to get the fuck away from me. I do get that impulse.
Yeah. We've never, had customers like that come into our store.
Not like that exactly, but
We
we've
didn't
gotten close.
Yeah, we didn't get a good look at this guy's shoes. They could have been wrapped in duct tape.
Yeah, he could have been a regular tank kid.
Could have been.
Now, these references, Derek and I make references in this show a lot that we kind of realize will go over our general audience's head. Now, behind the scenes, Derek and I think that that's very funny, and we continue to do it. But one thing, because we're nothing if not antagonistic with you guys, but
right?
Something that
we love you.
Yeah,
but we love
Lubden
as well. we're hashtag
Lubden,
we're the Lubden
guys. Never gonna stop. But those specific references, you'll never get to know about. But we are sorry for making them because those are a little bit too much.
Yeah. But Kirsty eventually catches Julia. She witnesses her bring a man into her father's house.
She's like, my daddy Larry would be very upset if he knew about this. He would do nothing about it, but he'd be upset on the inside. He'd tell his therapist.
And yeah,
probably.
He seems well adjusted.
He seems
right?
healthy.
And so she follows her up to the attic eventually, and Kirsty then finds Frank. And Frank is like, you know what's better? What's the next step? I already slept with my brother's fiance and wife.
So now it's time for incest?
Yes.
Now, okay, I am not in any way, and this, I feel like this is going to make this sound so much worse than it is. I am in no way an apologist for incest.
That's good.
Good.
Let's put that right out there first.
But don't you think that you would have, if you were gonna at all, don't you think you would have done that first and then gone and gotten the box that takes you to a different plane of being?
Right. Okay. I see what you mean.
Like, if he was willing to do it,
yeah,
he could have fucked Larry right in his butt.
Yeah. He didn't try that.
No.
That we're aware of.
No.
I mean, maybe he offered.
Larry
was like,
nope.
no, thank you, sir. You're my
Larry-
brother.
Larry's just like, dude, that's fucking hilarious.
He's
Frank's
like, yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah. I was gonna go with he's like dejected, but I like that too, where he's just like, "Oh yeah, that would be crazy.
That
man.
would be wild."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was your idea though, not mine. But yeah, he's real creepy. But
Yeah.
he uses the term "come to daddy."
Yeah.
That is the tell later on.
So he went from Uncle Frank to Uncle Daddy Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Soon he'll be Uncle Daddy Larry Frank.
He will. She fights him off, and she picks up the puzzle box, like almost on accident. And then he, freaks out, and she tosses it out the window. And he like cowers. And so it allows her to run out of the house, and she snatches it up as she leaves because it landed like right outside the front door. And then she's running, and she like passes out, collapses in the street, and then she wakes up in the hospital. That's one thing I will say about this movie as well. The way that it's structured, the way that it just moves.
It never stops.
There is no,
It's like the closest we get to the movie stopping is the dinner party.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, once she goes upstairs, it's just crazy.
Yeah, they have one little drink, and then she's like, I gotta go. And then this movie is all gas, no brakes.
All gas, all ass, no break.
Right.
But yeah, she wakes up in the hospital, and one thing I did notice is that the set is really bad.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't look like a hospital at all.
No. Well, and it's because obviously they're going to have to open up the walls and things.
Yeah, but it looks like the attic.
Yeah.
That they just
re-skinned to this.
Yeah, like they shot all this first, and then they tore the floor and the ceiling out, like the ceiling tiles and the wallpaper, and then they shot the rest of the attic shit.
I mean, maybe. Because I know that the house itself was a real house, which is why we talked about like the camera angles being weird. And that's literally because it's like you could only fit one camera in here. You could only fit it in certain areas to get shots and things like that. But then they have the set that is the attic.
Okay.
I believe. That way they could do, all the crazy stuff.
That makes sense. It's also why the attic is the same like floor plan layout as the entire bottom floor. It's like huge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even though whenever they go up there are 3 doors on that floor. Bathroom is over here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And on the left. And then the attic door is on the right. But then, it opens up and it's an entire house worth of attic.
A massive space for him to run around, jack off, summon the demons, and eat people with his fingers.
Yeah. Nail rats to the wall.
Crazy shit.
Decorating.
Man. Yeah.
Smoking in a suit.
Now I have to go smoke again.
But yeah, Kirsty wakes up in this hospital room. And then there's the doctor is so hostile to her.
Yeah.
For the moment that he gets on screen.
To the point where I thought, like,
is he in on it?
It's like
is
a
he
rug
somebody
pull.
in disguise?
Right. But no, he's just a dick.
Yeah. Because he comes in and he's like, well, you shouldn't be out of bed. What are you doing? Get back in bed. Oh, do you know anything about this? And he pulls out the lament configuration, and she's like, I don't know what that is.
He's like, because I solved it earlier. Let me tell you, I've had the night of my life. I've been running away from this big fat guy in a leather jacket for like 15 minutes.
This guy won't stop smiling at me.
And she has never seen this. So she's like, what are you talking about? And then they burst in. Well, kind of. Because he leaves, and she's like.
And she's kind of, and this is what I guess I mean by like, it's got to be some sort of connection to this thing because she is just idly playing with it.
Yeah, she picks it up and she goes, you know what? I lament this thing's configuration.
Mm-hmm.
She rearranges it.
She solves it, baby.
She opened the box. So then all the walls turn into slits of shafted light through weird drywall board. And
I love that.
Yeah, it looks good, but it's... I don't know why all the walls look exactly the same.
Yeah, this time it's the wall like opens up, like you said, the door.
Yeah,
from Beetlejuice. Because then there's this long, like labyrinthine hallway that she goes down, and she is attacked by what they call the engineer,
which is like a giant earth. If anybody ever played Earthworm Jim, it's like when Earthworm Jim has the attacks where he climbs out of his suit and he's a worm, but he's got like eyes and a face.
Right.
It's like a big worm with eyes and a face.
Yeah. And he like, the way that it's puppeted is almost like he's upside down.
Like he's hanging from the ceiling.
And his like legs are holding him to the walls. And then he runs down the hallway that way.
He doesn't seem to be like the other Cenobites where he is like intelligent. This seems like a beast.
Yeah. And what I think there, like, cause like she sees him, she's surprised by him in the dark. He chases her back down the hallway. She makes it in time. The wall slams shut. and there's like no seam or anything, and she's looking, but she can still hear him on the other side of the wall. Like, I think that's an interesting concept of like, whatever this thing just did, it unlocked a part of the universe that is living on top of and inside of our own. Like, we cannot see it, but it is right there.
A minor spoiler for the video game Bloodborne. In the game Bloodborne, it is pitched in the beginning of the game, like the first half of the game, is pitched like a gothic horror story. You're fighting like werewolves and the whole thing feels very much gothic horror.
Okay.
But then as you continue to play the game, you experience more and more really fucked up stuff. And it's like a point system where you earn more points of madness. And eventually...
Madness?
Yeah, Mouth of Madness. And eventually when you reach enough madness points, your character like blinks his eyes and looks around and the world is exactly the same. But now the sky is this horrible nebula and there are these giant alien monsters that are clung to the walls everywhere. And the game becomes, oh yeah, all of the stuff that you just have been seeing this whole time, as horrifying as that's been, that's the mask that these things wear. And you are forever damaged to the point where you see the world, you see reality for the first time. And
you woke as fuck.
Yeah, you wake up and you're like, man, healthcare for all is the obvious system. But anyway, and that's what the aliens in Bloodborne say too, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that it is the thing of like, especially the way this movie ends, like the very last shot of this movie. It's like, well, yeah, once it happens, it just keeps happening forever.
Yeah. No, I like all of that. But then she basically tries the box again. And that's when the Cenobites finally appear to her.
That's where our clip comes in.
Yes.
Doug Bradley's so fucking cool.
We are finally introduced to our lead Cenobite, who in the novel, I believe, is called Priest.
He's the gore priest. Or something like that.
Something like that. And he doesn't have like a name other than like lead Cenobite in this. Pinhead is something that was put on him, much like Lubden. We discover, much later.
I'd end this episode with a Pinhead chant, I think.
Okay.
All right.
Let's make sure that, let's see if it happens.
We'll have to remember.
Yeah, if it moves. But Pinhead is played by Doug Bradley. Oh, man. But he reprises this role in Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, Hellraiser Bloodline, Hellraiser Inferno, Hellraiser Hellseeker, Hellraiser Deader, and Hellraiser Hellworld.
Yes.
Just to give you a quick rundown of the movies we're going to be covering soon.
Yeah.
There is a female Cenobite who on set they called Deep Throat after
Hilarious.
but she is played by Grace Kirby. She was in an 86 drama called The Gospel According to Vic. I don't really think she does a whole lot of acting outside of this. You have the Chattering Cenobite, who is played by Nicholas Vence, who is also in Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. He plays a character in Nightbreed. And then he is in a 2017 horror film called The Black Gloves. And then you have Butterball, the Cenobite, who is played by Simon Bamford, who is also in Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, Nightbreed. And then another film that is based on the writings of Clive Barker called Book of Blood from 2009.
Okay.
And this is where, we've seen them a couple times throughout this, like fleetingly.
Yeah.
But this is where we finally get their real introduction. Like, this is where we really get to hear them, speak the lines that they're going to speak, do their little, the way that we get a good look at them.
And they kind of are like, at this point, this is who this is what we represent. This is what we want from the world that we are now inhabiting.
Yes. I guess, do we want to try and describe the Cenobites?
Oh, yeah. Sounds like fun.
As best as we can.
Okay. I'm going to start with Deep Throat.
Okay.
Deep Throat is a lady who's wearing like a high-collared sort of black latex and leather dress. Each one of their pieces of clothing is like kind of banded so that it shows some skin, some of it is like sleeves, or they all seem to be wearing like long like skirts instead of pants.
Yeah.
And all of their torsos have like, they've been cut to some degree and they have like strips.
Yeah.
But the defining features Longthroat has a
Deep throat.
Oh no, I bet what I said.
Okay.
Her throat is longer than hell.
She reminds me, just before you get too far into all the intricacies, just on a baseline, the pale skin, the bald head, she makes me think of, and I don't know the character's name because I'm sorry guys, but in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, whenever Anakin joins Palpatine at the opera and he is sitting in that booth with those other people,
Yeah.
there is a woman there who he like excuses. It's someone on his cabinet or whatever.
Okay.
That's who she looks like to me.
I don't know. I'm gonna just call her Pam Bondi. But she's like white, like ghastly white. She has like a halo around her, like the back of her, like from her neck around to her head.
Yeah.
Of like metal wire.
And then that wire goes like piercing her cheeks across.
And then her neck, there's a slit in her neck, like a vertical, like from her like chin kind of down to her like thyroid. And it is being like peeled open by like almost like staples. So that's her. Okay. You pick one now.
Well, I mean, my favorite
Yeah.
is the Chatterer. And so the Chatterer has no visible eyes that we can see. He has like on the sides of his mouth, wrapped around to the back of his head, it almost looks like that wire, that metal, wire that's like pulling taut and cutting into the skin, reaching back to the back of his head, his bald head again, pale, bald. Same sort of thing. The black leather strips that is like kind of pierced into his skin at places. He's wearing these gloves to where his fingers are like held in particular, not like almost like he's doing like a West Side.
Yeah, they
sorta.
almost look like sharpshooter gloves. Or like Gambit from the X-Men's gloves.
Yeah. Because it's like certain fingers are in gloves and certain ones are open to the air.
Yeah.
And he uses those to go right into Kirsty's mouth.
Yeah. She goes,
But his most defined trait here is that he's got, like in SpongeBob, to bring that up again, when in the episode Just One Bite, when Squidward takes one tiny little bite of the Krabby Patty and his teeth stretch out and they just dink and bite. That's what his teeth look
imagine
like.
if Squidward did that and then did that 100 more times very quickly.
Because then he's just like...
It's like horse chomping. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like
great.
a creepy guy.
He's great.
I'm going to talk about the second in command.
Okay.
Pinhead.
Okay.
Because obviously Butterball is the president.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen Butterball in a film before, remember?
That's true. That was Halloween, one of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to describe Pinhead as I turn and face the figure of Pinhead that I have. He is wearing, he's wearing like a turtleneck kind of deal. But again, his torso is like a little bit ornate, but it's got all these like separative like panels where his skin has been flayed. So it's just like bloody tissue that has dripped blood down his chest. And he's adorned with like bone saws and scalpels and just random shit that just hangs off of him. But the big thing about him, as his name would imply, is that his head, which is like horribly like almost blue white, like rotten blue white, is like Manhattan, baby, like a grid system of just nails sticking out of his goddamn skin.
Yeah.
Probably 100 or more. But and his eyes are like inky, all black. And his mouth seems to be black. Like on the inside of his mouth seems to be black too, because he moves, like he'll speak, but there's like very little definition. And whether that's the camera or trick of the light, or if they did like, you have them bite a piece of charcoal, swish it and spit it, give the inside of their mouth black, which maybe, who knows?
He has said that apparently on set for this film, because he has the black scleras, that he had very hard time maneuvering around set without tripping over his long, skirts, basically.
I mean, they look fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then the coolest because of the sunglasses.
He is wearing like goggled sunglasses.
It's like shades, yeah.
Yeah. the last member here.
Butterball, the mayor of the Cenobites.
Yeah. You typically find him like in the frozen food section of a Walmart. He's wrapped in like a white and red and blue label of, he's frozen.
No.
But you can serve, like you can cook
No,
him
you
up.
Googled this. This is a turkey that you're looking at.
Oh, okay. Butterball.
Type in-
Cenobites.
Type in Butterball Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Okay.
Or H2O.
Part of a monastic order. Okay. He's a big fat guy.
Yeah. His eyes are stitched shut.
Yeah.
He's got like he's no nose. Like a
Right.
weird fishy mouth.
And then much in the same way that like Deep Throat's throat is then slit vertically down and peeled open, his stomach also has that sort of thing when you see him in the wide shots. And I think there was supposed to be more to that of like, that is how he eats almost, is like just putting it directly inside of him.
He looks like a fat Boris the Animal from Men in Black 3, played by Jermaine Clemens.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our gang
The gang's all here.
of Cenobites.
Gang.
Doug
Says white teenagers.
Doug Bradley has also described basically, the idea of hell to him in this is hell is like a prison. And so the Cenobites are then the guards. Pinhead is the warden. The puzzle box is the key to the prison cells. And then the demons are then escaped inmates that, terrorize, whatever. But it's just that kind of thing of like, there is an order of command here.
But the thing that I always think is so interesting is that he has described Pinhead and this cast of Cenobites as like just about near the top.
Right.
Like as close to the devil as he is comfortable writing.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that makes him fucking really sinister.
Yeah.
But they basically tell Kirsty, like, listen, we're going to take you because you solved the Rubik's Cube of sex.
Yeah.
So now we have to take you and rip you apart and turn you into basically one of us.
Right. You're going to love it.
Do you want to be teeth guy? Do you want to be fat guy?
Do you think it's like, okay, when you go to a tattoo parlor,
Right.
and they peel open their little book and they're like, do you like any of these designs? They have the flash pages, but like the flash page of what a Cenobite is.
Yeah, I think so. And then Dr. Kennard, whichever from the next movie is like, no. I want to be a worm.
Uh-huh.
I'll be like a wormy guy.
I want it to like suck me from the head.
I want to shoot like discs out of my hands. They're like, fuck you, dude. That's a deposit.
Sucks the head.
Oh, shit,
know?
dude. Corral, daddy. You want to get some bugs, do it?
No.
That's what they need. They
Not
need
at all.
a Cajun Cenobite.
Yeah.
Whose like neck is like an accordion that just plays Zydeco music all day.
Man.
Yeah.
That is definitely what this film was missing.
I get to do a you thing. You ready? Hold on. So anyway, they're like, we're taking you with us.
Right.
And she's like, well, no, I don't want to go have like ouchy sex. And they're like, well, too bad. That's what you did with the box. And she's like, well, you've done this before because Frank, my Uncle Frank, he got away from you guys. And they're like, Frank? And Pinhead's like, Frank? She's like, yeah.
He's the
Frank.
man in the coil.
He's the man in the attic. And they're like, well, maybe if you can get us him,
Right.
we'll let you go. But maybe. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the doctor's like, hey, quick, take that puzzle box and run home and don't let anyone stop you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, dun 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 dun. And then she trips and she goes, ah. Anyway.
Oh, we're in Family Guy again. I get it.
Always back.
That was a good bit. That was a bit on a bit because they were doing a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory thing.
Hell yeah, baby. But it's all Hellraiser.
Right. And so we move to our finale because like we said,
that's it.
this movie moves.
Well, and so she's moved her ass back to this house. She goes inside.
Larry's come home.
She sees Larry.
Julia is acting strangely. And then the next time we see Larry, he's acting strangely and he's got like blood on parts of him, like around like his hairline.
Yeah, it's like he's
like putting his finger, like, like when you really clean your hand, like you wash your hands really well, like a surgeon, and you like rub your fingers in between each other, like really hard. He's doing that, but he's like kind of packing it in.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's what I will say.
Mm-hmm.
The blood around the hairline It takes no time at all. You're immediately like, oh, skin suit. I don't know what about it. It's just like, yeah, you can tell. It's like, oh, that's a seam.
Yeah.
He put him on from the hair. Great. It works.
Yeah, it works.
But we kind of are getting the idea of the fact that Larry has been murdered by his sex pervert brother, Franklin. And Franklin D. Pervertvelt is like, I'm going to wear my brother. And so he does.
Right.
But the way it kind of really sticks the landing here is that, and you mentioned earlier, Uncle Frank says, come to daddy.
Right.
And he's like a real sex creep to his own niece about it. But he says it again, this time as Larry. And I love this like close up of Kirsty's face of like Ashley does such a good job of, she is such a good, by the way, she's such a good lead.
Yeah.
She's so
And
good this whole movie.
I think this is her debut, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Because she gets an introducing in the credits.
Because she's just great. She's great. All of her fear is so believable. All of her disgust, her humor seems good. Like, yeah, no, she's great.
Well, and the fact that, like, you know, Frank got into this, like, seeking something like this out, maybe not knowing how bad it was going to be for him, but, like, seeking something out. The rest of them have had this just thrust upon them.
Yeah.
And they're having to deal with, like, I'm sorry, what is happening?
Yeah.
In our house?
In our attic?
Here in the United States?
During this time of the year? Centralized entirely in your kitchen? Yes.
May I see it?
No. Anyway. No. Because it's Pinhead was using steamed clams as an excuse. Anyway, no, so he says, come to daddy. And she's like, you know, great facial reaction. But she realizes, and he goes to grab her. She scratches at his face, tearing it open. And then it's so gross. It's 3 little dangly pieces of meat for hanging off of his face.
It makes me think of in Candyman 2.
Yes.
Whenever she scratches his face after he has killed her husband. And she scratches his face and the bees pour out.
Yeah.
It's a similar sort of, like, effect there.
And it looks good because he continues to, you know, clearly they don't cut to a fake head.
Yeah.
And Julia kind of gets into a scuffle at this point and she's like, no, stop. Don't stop. I don't know what her motivation is anymore.
Yeah.
She seems to be like, no, don't stop. Like, don't get in the way of me and Frank.
Basically
you
that.
child.
It's like, and it's like, I don't know if because Frank is coming on to Kirsty, but then it's like, does Julia not pick up on that? Does she think that he still needs more blood or body or whatever?
Or is this like a jealousy thing?
Maybe. Because I mean, she doesn't like Kirsty. Like, Kirsty and Julia do not have as a stepmother, stepdaughter.
No, it's literally Lydia and Delia.
Yeah.
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 This is just pervert vampire Beetlejuice.
Well, okay. And to your point, to that point is Frank, if he's the Beetlejuice of it all, he springs to life and then he immediately tries to sleep with a teenage girl.
Yeah. No, Beetlejuice is he's a pervert.
Yeah.
He's too is on the list. It's sad because people love Beetlejuice. They love that character, but guys, he's a kind of a pedo. He's a creep. You guys look like a creep. Everybody listening to this episode needs to make peace with the fact that they love a striped suited creep.
Yeah. They yeah, that Waldo. Anyway, that's why he's always hiding.
Him and the Hamburglar just fisting each other. So, oops, accident. That switchblade, instead of going into Kirsty, goes into Julia's guts. And then it's unclear as to where Frank sticks his fingers.
He like sticks them like in her neck. And then he just decides, I guess, in that moment to go ahead and drain her anyway.
Yeah.
Now, was that the plan? Once he's got like Kirsty here,
I'd imagine.
Like, is he lusting after her? And so it's just like, well, now I can just get rid of
with
you.
this old bag. Yeah. It also kind of makes it worse because what I had said earlier is that if you were willing to try incest, why would you do that after the puzzle box? But maybe it's because he needed the puzzle box because the ultimate way for him to do incest is if he did it as that person's dad.
Right.
Which is horrifying.
Yeah.
There is no telling because this character is just built to be debaucherous.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that, but yeah, that is maybe an extra layer of awfulness that he is doing on purpose there.
Yeah. Or maybe if it wasn't the plan all along, maybe it's like, oh, well, you know, going to roll with the punches.
Right. Well, and that's also the thing. Like, that is kind of the tragedy here of Julia, is that she in this moment is like begging him to stop, and he just is like, I'm making the best of this situation now, whether that was his plan all along or not, whatever.
Yeah.
But he sucks her like life essence dry, and she dies there. But it's like,
The makeup effect here is the first time seeing a makeup effect in this movie that I'm disappointed.
yeah, it's weird.
It just looks like they put a bunch of gray chalk on her face.
Yeah. But it's that thing of like, she was his ride or die. Like,
Yeah, through it all.
he appeared to her as a living corpse, and she was like, okay, yeah, that sex was really good though.
I really hate the parallel here because we made this joke a couple times, but it really does seem to be like the Ghislaine Maxwell of it all.
Oh,
The facilitator,
yeah.
the enabler. Yeah.
And no, it absolutely, it has been the thought I've had the last, like, this week watching these, is like, it is women who will do whatever it is to better this man in their life who is promising them all of this greatness along with them. And then the minute that they do something out of turn, speak up, or have any sort of change of heart
Or age.
they are thrown to the side as if they were nothing.
Now in this, he sticks his fingers in her neck meat and drains her of her juices. Now, what I will say is that if it makes you sad or uncomfortable about the fact that there are so many fucking parallels to the socio-political climate of right now versus the film Hellraiser,
Right?
yeah, us too.
Yeah.
And if you think that's just great, you son of a bitch. You did this to us. I like to think that nobody like that listens to this show.
Probably. Certainly not now.
Definitely not now.
But yeah, Frank chases Kirsty up into the attic, and he moves to kill her. And in doing so, he basically admits to killing Larry, whose skinless corpse is currently on the floor of the attic.
Yeah. And he says something like, don't worry, you'll be all right. Your Uncle Frank is here.
And then the Cenobites are just like,
We got him.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a sting
They
operation.
kick in the door.
Chains come flying out. They stick in his gut. A lot of reused footage.
Yes, but I love the slow realization on Larry Frank's face of like, when, not that he can hear this, but the score changes and then the blue lights come shining through all the slats in the walls and the fog and the chains and the like, all of that happens. And he is like, oh, I have screwed up.
Yeah.
Like, yes, like they're back, and I just admitted that I got away from them. And they ensnare him with these chains. Now, this is a scene that the first scene that I ever saw of this movie is this, because it is on that boogeyman.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is the scene that they put on there for that.
Okay, fair enough.
It's
like the most famous line delivery of the entire franchise is right here. Because, yeah, he gets hooked by all the chains. The Cenobites are like, we're taking you fucking back. And then he seems to be enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like this time, he's not just screaming. He's smiling through it. And he seems to honestly be liking the fact that he's being torn to pieces.
Yeah.
But he looks with these disgusting yellow teeth. He looks at Kirsty and he's like, Jesus wept. And then gets torn apart. Yeah. And it's like, but why did you say that? And apparently that was like an on the day improv kind of deal.
Yeah, that is an improv from him. I think the written line on the page, I think, was a simple "fuck you," and then the actor decided to change it to that.
It's good.
Yeah,
it works. It's creepy. It sticks foreboding.
With you.
Yeah,
because it is, like you said, it is the most memorable line. Not even line, but line delivery. That is the correct way.
The makeup looks so good of him being pulled apart. His face is like being yanked in like 6 different directions by fish hooks.
Yeah.
and he is smiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I don't love that. Yeah. But then he explodes.
Yeah, as the Cenobites then decide to double cross Kirsty here and attempt to
Two
take
for the price
her.
of one.
I love as she's trying to go down the stairs, the female Cenobite is like dragging this like claw up the wall.
And then the wall starts to bleed.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is so surreal.
It's unfortunate. They could have done something cooler, but again, as you mentioned earlier, they ran out of money.
Yeah.
One by one, they come up to Kirsty to do harm to her or to take her.
And she has the box and she starts basically doing the movements in reverse.
Right.
For how she unlocked it, but in reverse now.
And every time she does it, I think it starts with, it doesn't matter the order, but I
Yeah.
think it starts with Deep Throat, then Butterball, then Chatterer. Pinhead is second to last. She does the thing, she moves the box slightly. They are highlighted and like outlined in yellow drawing of lightning crackles, and then they vanish. And then the last one is,
I think Butterball is the last one because he just shows up and he's about, because Steve, the boyfriend, has shown up.
yes, you're right.
And so it happens to, all the others. And then also, I love when the Chatterer appears again because it's like they always like have their little moment, like they're almost framed in a doorway. And the Chatterer shows up and he's draped in this like semi see-through, almost like a wedding veil. And the camera pushes in on him, and then clearly people out of frame of the camera just slowly lift it off of him. And then he steps forward, and then she does the thing, and he zaps and dies.
Which is sad because he was going to propose.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's going to be like, listen, I know that I have tiny little teeth. And then she was like, ugh, and she did the puzzle box.
Well, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
But eventually,
The only one left is the engineer from earlier.
yeah.
Who's in the house now.
Yes, because Butterball appears, he's going to stab Steve, but then the house starts collapsing. And so that's how Butterball goes, is just like stuff falls on him. And then they run to the front door. And when she opens it, the engineer is then there. And so that's whenever she kind of does the movement where like the box is now like you would move a Rubik's Cube, but at a
Diagonal.
like at a 45-degree angle instead of a 90. And they have a quick kind of tussle with the engineer. But like Steve, I think, picks up like a bottle and like smashes it in the face or something.
Yeah, something.
And then she just like, as the house is destroyed, I think she just does more of the movements, and then the door shuts and it disappears back into the darkness again.
Yeah.
And then they escape the house as it like kind of collapses around them. Now they didn't have the money, obviously, to actually like burn down the house
Or to do like a poltergeist implosion.
right. So instead, you just get this this picture, which we didn't mention earlier, but there's a photograph that Julie found of Frank when they first were looking through the house. And it's like, because she finds this stack of photos, this hidden thing of photos of him doing.
And like a snuff box of him
Yeah.
fucking around with a bunch of people. Yeah.
Right. And so she takes the one where he's like kind of the most normal, just hanging out looking.
Yeah.
And she tears away the picture of the woman he was with. I thought at first that she was finding a picture of her and him. And so she was hiding evidence.
Understood.
But it's not. It's like a prostitute. But we see that picture then burn to kind of symbolize that like the house is destroyed, because then we end up with
We cut
the
outside.
epilogue
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like
It's like nighttime.
yeah.
Kirsty takes the puzzle box.
And
It's her
there's
and
very
Steve.
little of this house left.
Yeah.
But there's just piles of fire,
Like
basically.
burning, rubble.
And I will say one of the most surreal images to me is there is a chair, like a wicker chair that is just on fire, but it's still standing, but it's like in the middle of this dirt field. It's just so bizarre looking.
Interesting. I didn't notice.
But they walk up to the little fire.
They throw the puzzle box into the fire. Then the homeless man earlier who was eating crickets walks into the fire and grabs it. And then this is my whitest kids, magnum opus reference. He grabs the puzzle box out of the fire, burns away, and what is left is a stop motion dragon skeleton that goes, ah, and flies the puzzle box away. And they look at each other like, what the fuck? And then it's like, ba 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 ba. And it's like, that's all, folks. And their image, like the shot of them shrinks into the circle of the lament configuration. And that's like the last shot.
Yeah. The skeleton, this whole skeleton bit at the end makes me think of the winged Deadite at the end of Evil Dead 2 that shows up. But then also I will say, because you made a comment during the viewing the other day, and apparently that is it's a thought that a lot of people have. It's like a rumor that character, the derelict character, is played by Clive Barker. He's doing a cameo. It's not Clive Barker. It's also not the joke that I made, which is it's comic book writer Alan Moore. It's not him, but it very much looks like him with the long beard and the dirty hair. But apparently that is played by Frank Baker, who was in The Secret Garden, the fantasy drama from 1993. And then he's in an episode of Young Dracula, which was a teen fantasy comedy.
Okay.
But yeah, just to put those rumors to bed, folks.
Okay. Well, here's a rumor that I want to put to bed. I heard a rumor that you recommend Hellraiser. Is that true?
Oh, I absolutely do.
Yeah.
This is a weird little movie. It's one that definitely has grown on me in the, 12 years that I've watched it or whatever.
Yeah.
I've watched it several times over the years. And yeah, I it's not one that like, oh, I like this a little more every time I watch it, but it's one that is like, every time I revisit it, I'm like, okay, I get a little more out of it. I enjoy little things, and it all kind of clicks a little more for me. I think these watches, especially, like just things that I picked up on or thematically, and then some of the points that you made, I think are phenomenal here. So, but the makeup effects, the character designs for the Cenobites, it is all so out there and different from what was going on in, the slasher films that we've talked about. At this point in time, 87, I think Dream Warriors had just come out the year before. And then I think we were on Jason Lives for those. And then we're 2 years before Michael comes back in Halloween 4. So, we're kind of in that era. Chucky hasn't happened yet because that's 88, I believe. So it's like, this is so drastically different than the other horror franchises that were kind of the zeitgeist at the time.
Well, this will go on to be drastically different from really anything.
Yeah.
I struggle to think of things too similar to it. Obviously, Candyman is similar in a handful of ways because they are written by the same man. So there are certain thematic things that will carry over, but even those are very different. I mean, it is in a league of its own because what it touches is just so bizarre. It is very... like the themes that it plays with have to be played by the villain because they are so you can't connect to it at all.
Right.
The material.
With that, do you recommend?
I do. I recommend this to anybody over the age of 18. I think that it is, for as weird as some of the choices that they make are, I think that ultimately all of the choices that are made equal out to a good end result. Yeah. I think it's a good commentary on, society in the late 80s after, the world has already spent years in the AIDS epidemic and sex is looked at now by Reagan and the just kind of ruling party of the US, which is always, the US is always the social tastemaker of the world. And now in the late 80s, it is so conservative that it's like, yeah, sex is now looked at as like a bad thing to want, to have, to do. You don't talk about it. Don't ask, don't tell. To be any kind of other or different is very bad. And so this movie comes out and it's like, there are depths to that you will never understand. And in the pursuit of that, you might release something worse. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, that's a really good story. It's a good hook. It's great. I like the setting. Weirdly, I like the performances, even though it's like every performance, except for Kirsty, her performance is solid the whole time.
Yeah, she's great.
But it's like the other few leads have their moments where they are played, because they're all played the same way the whole time. And sometimes it's like if you hold a note through a song, that same note the whole time. It's like for the most part, it's going to either be the lead note or a harmony, but sometimes it just won't work. But most of the time they all work together pretty well. And then, I really like Pinhead.
Yeah.
I think that they're really cool and spooky. And I understand how for just those couple minutes that we see them, they have stood the test of time is because they're fucking creepy and they're cool. And Doug Bradley's voice is really great.
Yep.
And the pins look good. You got the one that's on his lip that's like floppy when he talks.
Yeah, but not particularly.
No, not anything too bad. I just think it's fun.
Yeah. I think, there's far worse. We will get there. But I think his design is all of their designs are so unique and interesting, and you just want to know more, but you get so little in this, and so it leaves so much to the imagination.
Well, fingers crossed that eventually, they get to make, what is that? The Bible.
The Scarlet.
The Scarlet Bible, I think or the Scarlet Gospels,
I believe.
Is that thing that Doug Bradley has been telling Clive Barker to make forever.
Right.
They're both still alive, by the way.
Yeah.
But Doug Bradley says he wants to do it one more time, and he wants to tell that story, which would be a from what I understand, a Pinhead movie.
Right.
Or a movie about Pinhead, 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 Pinhead.
Thanks for tuning into the Third Channel podcast. Please, if you have the time, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast apps.
You can follow us on social media at Third Channel Podcast, and you can find me online at @DRosenberg.
You can also reach out to us at thirdchannelpodcast@gmail.com, where we check every message we swear. Third Channel is hosted by PJ Minette
and Derek Rosenberg. Theme song and audio engineering by Fly Guy Ty.
The logo design by Bell DeVelco.
Episode artwork by Nathan Walkington.
Keep it tuned right here to the Third Channel for all things horror. And remember, don't touch that dial.
Egg salad and eggs.